Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to unravel the history of one of the most iconic dog breeds in the world, the German Shepherd. It's a story of ambition, of incredible success, and of unintended consequences, all written in their genetic code.
So let's start with a question that really frames this whole story. What if a dog's best qualities, the very things that make it so special, were also its greatest weakness? Just hold on to that thought because it's right at the heart of the history we're about to explore.
You know, it all starts with a dream. The dream of perfection. Our first chapter is all about creating the ideal breed.
Let's go back in time to the late 19th century. In the middle of this era of industrialization and massive change, an idea emerged. It was almost like an engineering project, the idea that you could design the perfect working dog.
And the goal was incredibly ambitious. Breeders were chasing this perfect combination of traits: superior intelligence to solve any problem, unwavering obedience to follow orders without question, impressive physical strength for any task, and of course, constant vigilance. They didn't just want a good dog, they wanted the ultimate working dog, a living, perfectly adapted tool. And you know what? For the most part, they succeeded. But the method they used to achieve that perfection, well, it turned out to be a double-edged sword. This is where the quest for the ideal dog began to carry an unexpected price. The principle guiding these early breeders was simple, and on the surface, it seemed logical. Like produces like. Basically, if you breed two smart, strong dogs, you're going to get smart, strong puppies. It was a method based purely on observation, because they didn't yet understand the complexities of modern genetics. And right here, we see the central problem. On the left, you have phenotypic selection, what the breeders could see with their own eyes: intelligence, obedience, strength. But on the right, you have the genotypic reality, what was hidden deep inside the genes. And in there, without them even knowing it, recessive genes, hereditary problems, and a dangerous lack of genetic diversity were all quietly building up.
The situation was a lot like this. Imagine you're building a beautiful, spectacular house. But, unbeknownst to you, the blueprints you're using have serious structural flaws hidden in the foundation. From the outside, everything looks absolutely perfect. But inside, a huge problem is brewing.
Those flaws in the genetic foundation lead us directly to the consequences we're still seeing today. Which brings us to our third chapter, a legacy of ailments. This quote from our source material really sums it up perfectly. The search for specific physical factors has triggered an increase in the number of genetic problems. By selecting so intensely for appearance and behavior, they unintentionally also selected for and amplified a whole host of health issues. Let's look at a concrete example. Here we have a diagram of anomalous aortic arches. Basically, these are hereditary malformations of the major arteries around the heart, which can squeeze the esophagus and make it difficult to eat. It's a direct consequence of that concentrated genetic inheritance.
And it doesn't just affect the heart. Here's another example: the hemivertebra. As you can see in the X-ray, it's a congenital malformation where a vertebra is wedge-shaped instead of being a solid block. This can twist the spine, causing pain and, in severe cases, compress the spinal cord, affecting the dog's mobility. A structural problem in the very skeleton of the breed.
Ironically, even the physical traits they were breeding for became a risk. The deep, athletic chest, a hallmark of the German Shepherd, significantly increases the risk of gastric torsion or bloat. It's a terrible medical emergency where the stomach swells and twists on itself, cutting off blood flow. Without immediate surgery, it can be fatal in a matter of hours. All of this really forces us to ask why the genetic health of this breed is so important today. And the answer lies in the price of perfection. Take a look at this number, 85%. What do you think that represents? It means that nearly 85% of all military-trained dogs in Mexico are German Shepherds. This just proves that their intelligence, obedience, and strength, those qualities sought from the very beginning, make them absolutely essential in specialized work. Their health isn't just an animal welfare issue, it's an issue of security and service. But this story isn't just a warning, it's also a source of learning. Which brings us to our conclusion: lessons in the code. You see, unlike the breeders of the 19th century, today we have the tools of modern genetics. We can actually read the genetic blueprint before we build the house. DNA tests allow us to identify carriers of disease genes, even if the dog looks perfectly healthy.
This lets us make much more informed breeding decisions to protect the health and well-being of future generations of this magnificent breed.
And this leaves us with one final question, one that goes far beyond dogs and really touches all of us. The story of the German Shepherd forces us to think, when we design life, whether it's through selective breeding or future technologies, what responsibility do we inherit? Thanks for joining us.